on, girl, let's scream.
I am a god.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. This is the part where you run.
Come on, scream.
Hello and welcome to Let's Scream, a podcast where we dive into our favorite horror movies. I'm Parker.
And I'm Stevie.
And today we're looking at 2011's Paranormal Activity 3, directed by Ariel Schulman and Henry Juice.
Join us as we journey back to the 80s. And we learn all about Toby.
Toby! Oh, girl, are you ready to scream?
Come on, girl, let's scream.
Let's scream. Let's go back to the 80s.
Sorry, we're in a Cher mood. I've been reading Cher's memoir, and you've been listening to a lot of Cher music.
I mean, it's Pride Month.
It's Pride Month, and it's
Why not
summer,
listen
and I don't
to
know why
Cher?
Cher is such a summer vibe for me.
Because she just is.
Yeah.
She is a summer for sure, yeah. And Cher just did that commercial where she goes, "Take me back to the 80s." And I think that's really funny. So, we're doing Paranormal Activity 3, which takes place in the 80s.
The 80s.
I love the Paranormal Activities.
Yeah. Oh, I do too. And
This
this is okay, I think I've shared this every Paranormal Activity, but this is the one I have a story with.
Yes.
This
You went to the
is-
movies, right?
I went to the movies. Me and my friend were sophomores in high school, so we could not see this because this is rated R for some reason.
Yeah, because you're sophomore in high school.
Why is this rated R?
Usually around like 15, 16.
Yeah. And so we bought tickets to Puss in Boots, and we walked into this theater.
Oh, nice. Okay, period.
And I think this is the first horror movie I saw in theaters.
You know, I remember, like, because we were both in high school around that time, and I remember this was a lot of people's, like, oh my God, we're going to Paranormal Activity. Like, this is what the girlies were watching.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that special connection to it because I was, you know, a teen.
Yeah.
This isn't my favorite Paranormal Activity, but I still think it's, like, one of the better ones.
I think this is my favorite, but I've only seen the first three.
Okay.
But I really like this. I just really like this one, and I think it's just because I have a connection with it. But I also just think this one has some of the funniest moments.
Yeah,
like
this one's
there's
fun.
quite a few that just make me laugh. Pretty much everything in this movie. This one just makes me laugh my ass off. Like a lot of the first two, you're more kind of like, oh, something, look what's happening. But this one's more just like, Toby fucked with them so much more back then.
And this is the first time that, like, it has a name. Like, it's
Yeah.
just been, like, this demon the whole time.
Yep.
Now its name is Toby.
Yep.
So, like, that does make it campier. And
Yeah.
the fact that it's, like, little kids.
And the one little girl is so
She
cute.
is so cute. And she's so funny. She's so creepy when she needs to be creepy.
Yeah.
But she also just has, like... She's cute, but she has kind of a funny face.
Yes.
And she just sells it.
Yes.
I love her performance in this
Yes.
movie. And the dad is the hottest dad in the whole...
Would. Next question.
Oh, raw.
Raw.
Unprotected all night till the room's stank.
I do not care. Whatever he wants.
Right. Oh, he's so fine. Because, like, Mika was cute. First
Mika's
movie.
cute.
Absolutely. The dad in the second one...
Dilf.
Definitely DILF vibes, but this...
But, like, wouldn't go back.
Wouldn't go back, but this Dennis...
Oh, I would stay.
Dennis is such husband material.
And this was also when I was in the closet in high school. So, like, me watching it, I was like,
he was like an early crush.
I was like, oh, he's cute.
You're like, why is
my gay
pee-pee
awakening
hard?
I mean, I told you, my gay awakening was Survivor, which...
Survivor and Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Because, I mean, if you see Keaton, long hair, facial
Yeah.
hair, that's the Lord of the Rings
Keaton
vibes. But
does
then,
have, like, Viking energy.
But then Survivor, because all the boys would walk around in their undies.
Undies.
And I'd be like, oh, hey.
Do you remember what my sexual awakening is?
It was Jacob. Twilight.
In Twilight, yeah.
But I was watching, we're watching a season of Survivor right now. A girl had to have her pussy blurred because she was wearing her undies. She had a camel toe. So we had to blur it.
Okay, well.
And earlier in the
sometimes-
episode, you could fully see her tits at one point.
Good
Those
for
were
her.
blurred.
If I was on
She didn't give a
Survivor,
shit. She didn't give a shit.
Sometimes you get your, like, clothes ripped off and...
Nope, she wasn't even in a challenge. She was just walking around camp.
Oh! Well, period. Well, good for her anyway. Free the nip, I always say. Tits to the wind.
Funny show.
Well, as far as, like, negatives, I would say on Paranormal Activity 3,
the costuming. We talked about this. It does not feel 80s enough to me at points. Even though it's late 80s, I'm like, there is some, like, you could have done a little bit more, and some of this is not at all.
I wish they would have gone really the fuck 80s, because, like...
If you're going to set it in a time period, set it in a time period so people, like, make those easy connections.
Even the, like, just house itself is not super 80s.
Because if they did not label that this was in the 80s, you would not have known this is in the 80s.
That's kind of the thing, yeah.
And I also don't like that the camera... I looked it up even to be like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it is a really, really nice 80s camera that we just don't know about.
It's too nice for the 80s.
It's an HD camera that they just dressed up to be an 80s camera. And so I think that would have added to it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, balls to the wall.
These movies have such small budgets, and they always make so much money. I'm surprised this one only had a budget of $5 million. I'm like,
right.
Why doesn't like double that? Get a better camera, better costuming.
Go get it. There are still functioning like VHS cameras out there.
I think it just would have added so much
Film
to the
it on
aesthetic.
that. I know.
I think those are my biggest critiques. I don't think this one has weird pacing. I don't think this one's poorly paced. I think this one shit is happening kind of the whole time.
Yeah, we're kind of in the swing of things. I will agree. This is maybe the best paced movie. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the slow burn.
I know
part
you
two.
you do like that. 2 I think is great.
Part 2 is my favorite.
This one, I mean, they're kind of at the point of like, we know shit's going on.
Exactly.
So they're like,
they don't even give us this tape was discovered by the police department. You know what I mean? Like that's not even in this.
No.
They're like, nope. You know what this is?
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's
Get into it.
because it doesn't even start out in the 80s.
No, well, we'll get into the plot here in a second.
Yeah.
But that's basically, like, my main thing about
I like
this.
the cast. I think everyone in it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think the gags are funny and great. And this one really it's probably the biggest lore drop we've had in the series. There's so much lore drop in this one.
Yeah, the more we talk about it, the more I do really like this movie.
I think it's a great one.
Definitely the story is great.
Yes.
I'm ready to get into the plot.
Yes.
How about you?
Yep, let's get started.
All right. So, Oh, wait. Are you ready to scream? I almost forgot our catchphrase. Are you ready to scream, girl?
Let's scream.
Let's scream. Okay, so spoilers from this point on. Paranormal Activity 3 opens up on a clip from the second movie.
Yeah.
But it's like deleted scene.
Yeah.
Something we never saw before.
Yeah.
Okay. I love this because I love the second movie.
Yeah.
That's my favorite family. That's my favorite storyline. So like getting like a little, that's what I love about these Paranormal Activity movies is the way that they build on lore.
Yeah.
Christopher Landon is the main writer, and he is so good. Like, he's done a lot of other scary movies, but he does a really good job at this. Like, he did Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2U, and he did some lore.
2U?
Yes.
You can have the regular
extra
version or the extra festive version.
It's giving Mariah Carey the extra festive version.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, he does, like, really cool lore expansion in those movies, too. And he's just good at this. It's him, like, definitely showing off, like, how he can write a twist, mama. But yes, this is during the, like, getting ready for the new baby, Hunter. They're doing his, like,
They're
nursery.
painting his room blue. It's a really pretty blue.
Trying to decide on a name. It's Kristi and Katie.
Yeah.
From, you know, the first 2 movies.
Because Katie's the younger one, right?
Kristi's the younger one who had Hunter. Katie's, I think, a little older, and she is from the first movie.
And she's delivering a bunch of boxes. She's like, can I keep a bunch of boxes in your basement?
Yeah, because they have, like, more storage, I guess. Although, I don't know. I've seen Katie's house, too, and that bitch has enough storage. She could have...
Girl, you don't have 2 kids.
They both have nice houses with pools. Although, Kristi's house is a lot cuter.
Yeah.
As we established in our
we see
previous
more
reviews.
of it, too. And then they notice a bunch of VHSs from when they were kids.
Yes. Apparently, it was just something that, like, had been passed down from their grandma Lois, who will come into play in this movie, who I really like. Fun character.
Yeah.
So, it's from their childhood in the 80s. And then we also see a clip from the day that their whole house was ransacked. And, like, all their shit was, like, rifled through.
Yes.
That was really weird. And I remember they talked about how, like, the only thing that was missing was a necklace that Katie had given to Kristi.
Yeah.
But they've retconned that in this movie.
Well, they probably didn't because it wasn't they just got all this stuff. They probably didn't even realize that all that stuff got stolen.
Well,
I think that's
they were like, the only thing that was missing is this box of tapes.
Oh.
Is what they said. So that definitely contradicts the first movie. But I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because then it gives us the whole setup of this third movie, which is now we are watching these tapes.
Yes.
That's what this whole thing is. The footage is not 80s enough, like we said. It does not look like VHS tape. It definitely looks like an HD camera, and they put like a slight
Filter.
VHS filter, but now it just kind of looks like any modern day like Instagram, Snapchat filter that you could put on.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really buying it, but
Yeah.
we are watching Katie and Kristi when they're little girls. It's Katie's birthday,
Yes.
and we see Kristi under the table.
Like talking to someone.
Yeah.
And the dad's filming, and we learn he has all this film stuff because he's a wedding videographer.
And he's fine.
Oh.
We talked about it, but
The actor's name is, I just had it pulled up. His name is Dennis in the movie, and it's played by Christopher Nicholas Smith. And
Christopher Nicholas Smith, you are daddy, okay? And
Yes.
we want you. Come on this podcast.
yes, please.
Like, number one pick for celebrity guests on this pod, if we ever blow up, him. And Karen Fields, who plays Judy.
Yes.
From Sleepaway Camp,
Diva.
who apparently is a huge trans ally, and she works...
She was on, no, sorry, it was the original Angela was on Dracula as a guest judge.
Oh, cunty.
Which still would be, I'd be like, oh my God.
I love her too.
I'd be like, holy shit.
But Karen Fields, she volunteers at LGBTQA plus help centers.
I love her.
Like call centers.
Julie.
And she has, I think, a trans son or trans daughter. I can't remember. But she was just on Peaches Christ's podcast. And she's iconic. I fucking love her. And Judy's such an icon. So her and this guy, please come on our show.
Yes. We will ask you 0 questions about this movie. We just want to
Look at you.
look at you.
Yeah.
Please.
Please. We also meet Grandma Lois, who we've never seen before. Peter. Her name's Grandma Lois.
Lois.
So immediately, I'm just going to picture Lois every time I think of her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is kind of hippy-dippy looking at first, I guess.
Yeah.
And we've heard about her in the first couple movies, but we're finally seeing.
And we also,
Lois.
this is also, they touched on this in the second one, I think, where they're like, I don't remember growing up. I remember these feelings as a kid, but I don't remember a lot about being kid. Like, they talked about that. They don't remember that. So we're finally getting, like, to see, like, what happened when they were kids. So they have dropped hints at something happened when they were kids.
Yeah.
Which I think is, like, kind of, like, probably the best direction that could have gone with this.
I think
third
so
one.
too. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Because I think everyone expected to be like, oh, what happened to Hunter? But it's like, oh, we're not going to tell you yet. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Yeah. And Dennis and Julie is their mom's name. They are newly together, but they're not married yet.
No.
He's not their biological dad.
Yeah.
I think he might have passed away or something. We don't know.
Yeah.
And Julie is really pretty. She's like a pretty young looking mom.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this actress too. She does a great job as far as like the improving stuff.
Yeah.
Which all these actors in the Paranormal Activities do a great job at.
Yeah.
But she had my favorite improv in this movie. Her and the little girl who plays Kristi.
Yes, they do really great.
Yeah, they do an amazing job. Dennis, like you said, is a wedding videographer, and he has his office set up in the garage of the house.
Yeah.
His assistant / BFF, Randy, comes over a lot.
Yeah.
Dennis pranks Randy, and, like, the girls help him in this, like, little prank. And
Yeah.
they leave him, like, stuck, like, holding a pull-up or something. I can't...
He was saying there was a leak, and he was having to hold, like, a bowl
or something.
to keep it, and like he then was using a broom to keep it, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna take the ladder, because he's doing all this because he made him wait so long. And if you look at the timestamp, they made him stand there for like almost 20 minutes, and then they're like, oh, we went outside and we got a spider, should we show it to him? And they like throw it, and then
that's funny.
and it's just a bowl full of water. He was just tricked into holding it, and so
Right.
all the water falls on him.
Now that was funny, and I like Dennis's relationship with these little girls.
Yeah.
Because he's not their, real dad, but, like, they love him, and they say, like, love you.
Yeah.
And, like, he's such a sweet guy, and
Yeah.
I want to fuck him.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
We see them take that picture of Katie on her first day of school, like, out in their driveway, which appears in the first two movies.
Yes.
Love
Yeah.
that. Love that. Dennis hears some thudding while working in his, like, office. And he goes upstairs to find that Teddy... What's it? Teddy Ruxpin? Is that what it's called?
Teddy Rumpkins?
Teddy Rumpkin?
There's something like that.
That's gone off.
It, like, fell
On
and, like,
itself.
turned on. Okay.
And then we see that the girls in their room... Because their room is, like, the loft upstairs.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, cool bedroom.
Love that bedroom.
But also kind of, like, also really smart for adults because it's like, oh, they can't close a door.
Yeah.
We know what's going on at all times. So.
Exactly. But we see that they have a little creepy door
Yes.
in their room. Which I remember in the commercial for this movie being like, oh, a little creepy door. That's so spooky.
Yep, and it's like a little, like...
little closet,
little
I think.
closet.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's never a good sign in a horror movie.
No.
Right? And he hears, like, a little creaking, and the door opens by itself. So he, like, goes to investigate. And then he gets jump scared by Miss Kristi.
and she's just sitting there.
She's like, hey. Right
You're the
behind
girls'
him.
day.
She's creepy, but she's cute.
Yeah.
But, like,
He's like, you scared me a little bit. And she just laughs at it. She's like, yeah. Yeah.
she's cute. Because you know how these movies are made? Like, they just tell them, like, okay, do this, but we don't have a script.
Yeah.
So the fact this little girl was able to, like, make some of this shit up,
Yeah.
I really fucking love
Yeah, they're
that.
probably like, hey, it's a ghost story. They probably just told her that.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, I'm sure maybe with her sometimes they'd be like, okay, make sure you say this or say
Yeah.
this.
But a lot of her shit is improv, and I love that. She's funny.
Yes.
Julie and Dennis that night are up in their bedroom, and they are smoking a joint.
Yep.
Smoking a doob.
And she's
getting
like,
high.
she's really paranoid already. Like, he makes a joke about it because she's like, no, like, it's illegal. Don't record it. Don't record it. Like, and he's like, you're already so paranoid.
Right.
Like, are you sure you haven't been smoking it already?
They're really funny, and then, like, once she gets high, she starts doing this this funny voice.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, what are you doing? The marijuana.
Nah.
She's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he suggests
they fuck.
they
on
make a
cam.
porno.
Loved this.
What?
Would.
With
right?
Dennis? Yeah. You don't have to ask me twice.
And then Miss Julie, I think she seems to be maybe a couple years older than him, like cougar vibes.
Yeah.
But she is holding her own. She, like, shows off her little booty.
Yeah.
And it was looking scrumptious.
Yes.
So good for her.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting ready to fuck.
And then
But then this
they
was like
kind of like both stop, like something kind of like
a weird feeling. This was creepy. And then big jump scare as, like, one of the
one
pictures.
picture frame falls, and then the whole house starts shaking.
It's
So
an
like-
earthquake.
Oh, it's an earthquake.
Yeah. But that was really, really scary and effective.
and the camera gets knocked over.
Yes, then we get this moment where,
Dust is like falling.
and you can see a figure in the dust. Like, the dust, like, falls onto some invisible force, and it kind of looks like a person.
Yes.
And then it, like, dissipates.
Yes.
Ooh, so scary. And it's done really well. Like, I
Yes.
think the effect looks great.
Yes.
Dennis notices this while watching back the footage, and he decides to set up a couple cameras on tripods throughout the
Yeah.
house to try and catch some paranormal activity, bitch. Here we go.
Here we go.
So the first night, Miss Kristi wakes up, and she goes to the corner of the room by that tiny door, and she begins talking to her quote-unquote imaginary friend, and his name is Toby, which we've been calling him Toby from the get-go in all of our reviews.
This is the first time he's actually name dropped.
Called Toby, yeah. So Dennis asks Kristi about Toby, and, like, you know, how long has he been your imaginary friend, da-da-da-da-da. And she describes him as old, like grandma, and tall. And he says, was he skinny or fat? And she goes, don't call him fat.
Okay. Sorry, Toby.
Dennis and Randy get jump scared by Julie popping out of the closet in a scary mess.
Yeah.
And I jumped 10 feet
This
out of my
one got me.
chair.
This one is like...
Because the mask is pretty scary.
This is one of the ones I forgot about. And then I'm like, okay, this is actually a good one.
There are a lot of fake outs in this.
Yeah.
All the movies are like, it's a lot of fake out jump scares, but they work.
Yeah.
They're great. And that night, while the girls are sleeping in a tent outside, which that's cute. Okay.
Yeah.
I could never be me.
No.
Even when I was a kid, I didn't like that kind of shit.
No.
But this was fun. And they say, like, love you, Dennis. Good night. And that was cute.
Yeah.
And we hear footsteps throughout the house as Dennis and Julie are sleeping in their bedroom. And when Dennis goes to check, the bedroom door, like, slowly shuts on itself. And Julie's, like, calling out his name. And she gets up. And immediately, like, as soon as the door shuts completely closed, Dennis, like, barges right in. And so it's, like, kind of like a mini jump scare. Again, like a fake out jump scare.
Yeah.
Because you're not expecting the door to immediately pop back open. And then they go outside to check on the girls. And we see that they never left the tent.
Yeah. And they keep asking them the next day, like, did you come in the house? Like, you were...
Like, someone was walking around. They're like, no.
No?
And they looked completely sound asleep.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
And they make them come inside. And they're very upset about it.
And the next day, Grandma Lois, Peter. She's here to nag
Dennis.
Julie for dating Dennis, even though he's broke as a damn joke, apparently. Her whole thing is like money, 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 money. She's pressuring Julie into having a third child. And she says, well, you always wanted a son. Like a son, which...
We did learn from the second one that a son was needed.
For whatever deal.
For
it
Toby.
was. For like fame and fortune or just money, I guess. And that makes sense why she doesn't like Dennis because he's broke. And I bet that like the funds they got from the deal with the demon are like running out or something. So that's why she's like kind of nagging Julie in this moment. So that night, something runs past the bedroom door. And Dennis goes out to investigate, and we see that the light fixture downstairs is slowly swinging. Which is an homage to the first movie, which always was like one of the creepiest parts in the first movie.
Yeah.
Dennis decides, and this is the best decision in the whole movie, to strap a camera onto an oscillating fan.
Yeah, he like
rigged.
deconstructs it so it's not like you won't hear the fan running.
So now it oscillates. Like the camera shot and the frame is oscillating to the left and right, so we can see like the living room and like kind of entryway and the left part. Yeah. And then when it goes to the right, we're in the kitchen. And therefore, the whole rest of this movie is just these oscillating fan
because
shots.
there are moments they use it so many times. They're like, oh, we're gonna go away from this, and when we come back, you're gonna be like, what's gonna happen? When we get back?
So it's that tense. It reminds me of because in the first movie. It's that establishing shot of the tripod and the camera facing the bed when Katie and Mika are asleep. And you know that like some shit's gonna go down every time that they cut to that. Yeah. And then the second movie, it's the security camera footage that keeps like shuffling through. Yeah,
because it just switches so quickly and it makes sure and then like
then this is now the left and the right switching. So it's so cool. It's so creative. Yeah. They can do all these cool things with it. That first night, Kristi is running around the house like a little tweaker, which, like, her creepy ass, I swear to God. And then the next day, Dennis and Randy do some research on the supernatural. They check out, like, a creepy witch book and pondering what an evil entity would want from these children. Yeah. Katie gets a hold of one of the cameras, and her and Kristi play motherfucking Bloody Mary. Yeah. Okay? But it's giving Bloody Mary Lady Gaga.
Yes.
I'll dance with my hands above my head. It's giving very much that. And so, yeah, they're playing Bloody Mary in the bathroom. Nothing happens, of course. And the mom comes in to take them downstairs. And after they leave, the medicine cabinet slams shut. Ooh, creepy. That night, Julie gets a midnight snack from the kitchen, and the camera's swinging back and forth, and the light fixture starts to do its little moving thing. She drops her fork in the garbage disposal. Yeah. So we see it cut back to her.
And you think something's going to happen when she's, like, reaching
Yeah, you think the garbage disposal is going to go off and, like, destroy her hand. But then the light fixture, like, bursts, and it makes, like, a really loud pop. Yeah. and just like is completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck? How did that
Like
happen?
it wakes up Katie and Kristi, and they're like, no, the girls just stay upstairs. There's glass everywhere.
So that's creepy. So Dennis is joining Kristi for a tea party with her dolls. This is always cute.
He almost sat on Toby.
She goes, that's Toby's seat. Don't sit there.
She got the Barbie doll and she got Teddy.
So you can sit in the other one, but that is Toby's seat.
He starts asking her about Toby, and then she gets to a point where she's like, doesn't kind of want to like say anything. Mm-hmm. He's like, you can say it, like, and she's like, no, I can't.
Well, why? I wouldn't be safe. And he's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? And she's like, I wouldn't be protected. I'd be in big trouble, mister.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Whatever that means.
Let's color, kid.
Yeah.
Katie comes in and she's taunting Kristi for having an imaginary friend. And she's like, only babies have those. And Kristi goes, he is real. See for yourself. He's in there. And she points to that creepy little closet. And so Katie investigates.
And she gets shut in.
Yeah, the door slams closed behind her.
And she's like, Kristi, let me out. And Kristi keeps going, it's not me.
She goes, you shouldn't have done that.
It's not me.
Then we see Dennis and Julie go out, and they are leaving Miss Lisa to babysit the girls. Now, Miss Lisa,
She's got like a 50s hairstyle going on. Like,
she does have
pony.
a side, it is more of a side pony because, like RuPaul says, I'm not an economist, but the key to having financial success is a side pony too.
Look, I'm not an economist, but I do know that your best defense against financial ruin is a side ponytail.
She took that message to
So
heart.
I'll give her the side pony.
We'll give her the
Should we
side
bring
pony.
back this? Should I start doing a side pony?
Yeah, you would rock a really cunt side pony.
I have the
Oh wait, that's cute.
I have the hair to do it.
I mean, RuPaul would approve.
I have financial success, RuPaul.
Right? But yeah, she's got like a poodle skirt and like more of like a drop neck, boat neck.
It's a boat neck, but then it like swoops down in the back. And I guess that was kind of 80s looking. It was a very hodgepodgey look.
I was getting more like poodle skirt.
That's what I
girl.
got.
Like
that's what I was getting too.
50s.
That's what I thought too. It was very
Yeah.
50s, and I'm like,
Sandra D.
Late 80s were not that inspired by the 50s.
So I don't know, but you know, she did have like the tacky 80s makeup, the blue eyeshadow. She
I
had
guess
big
when did
boobs.
Grease come out?
Grease was late 70s, 78.
Oh, see, yeah, because then that's even more. I'm like, that's
don't
so
know.
weird. Because I'm like, oh, maybe she was inspired by Grease, but
I mean, I guess Cyndi Lauper and Madonna were kind of wearing these kind of skirts, but this one was longer and it gave me more poodle vibes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it didn't seem like they really did their research on the 80s of it all. I don't know.
like with her, they tried the hardest, but also the least.
I know, yeah. But I like Miss Lisa. She's fun. She is telling the girls a goodnight ghost story because they ask her to tell the ghost story. And she even commits. She puts on the bed sheet and dresses up like a she ghost.
Yes.
So that's cute. She goes downstairs after putting them to bed.
This is a part I forgot about.
This is one of my favorite parts. I love this whole Lisa sequence. She is working on some homework in the kitchen. And the camera, you know, pans to the living room. And then it pans back. And then she jump scares the camera.
Yeah.
She's
like, ha, gotcha, Dennis.
She's like, hi, Dennis. I think she thinks the Dennis is cute. I mean, we all think Dennis is cute, right? And then the camera pans back. And then we see that there is, like, somebody.
It looks like Kristi
one
is
of the
wearing a
girls.
sheet.
To be like a sheet ghost. It's, like, standing at, like, the base of the stairs. And then it, you know, goes back to Miss Lisa. She's doing homework at the kitchen table. And then it cuts back to the living room. The sheet ghost is gone. And then it cuts back. It's right behind Miss Lisa. But then it, like, collapses.
There's no one under it.
As if no one was underneath it.
Yeah.
That's so creepy.
It was really
First of all, how the fuck did they do that? I'm still, like, can't figure it out.
It had to have been... It was on strings.
And
And they did it at the right
Maybe.
length to where the shape would look like a person was underneath it.
Maybe, yeah.
That's my guess.
Or they just, like, came in and, like, moved the things really fast. I don't even know.
Or it's just a really good cut. Or somebody was actually on it,
Yeah.
and then they did like a cut of like it just falling.
Just falling.
And they
I don't know.
It's good. It's really good.
Really good. And then she hears some noises from upstairs, and she notices like the sheet goes. She's like, "What the fuck? Like, are the girls out?"
Yeah. So
she goes
like,
to check on them.
Wraps up she like folds it up, and she goes upstairs, checks on the girls.
She's drawn to the tiny door by like a creaking sound.
Yeah.
So she gets up, and she's like,
right in it.
And then she gets jump scared by a gust of wind as like the door, I guess, opens. And so she gets spooked.
She's terrified.
The fuck out. She runs downstairs and she waits by the front door the whole time until like they get back.
Yeah.
And then she immediately
She's
leaves.
like, she takes her money. She's like, thanks, bye. They're upstairs.
Doesn't say anything. Great sequence. That's one of my
and they were
favorites.
even like, what the fuck? That was weird.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
That was so
And
punchy.
then Dennis checks the camera.
Yeah, the next night, the camera pans over to reveal Kristi standing on the fucking kitchen counter like a little freak.
Yeah.
And then she continues to like do her little thing where she's like running around, tweaking.
And is this the one where she walks on the banister?
Yes.
This stressed me out.
She's like up on the loft, like up on the banister of the stairs, and she's talking to Toby.
And she's like doing like a balance beam.
Uh-huh. And she says, "Are you sure? You promise? I'll be okay?" And then she jumps the whole fucking way down the stairs. So you're like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. But she's totally fine. Like,
and then she comes running back up.
See in the next frame, she's like totally fine. So like Toby must have like helped block her fall or something.
Caught her.
So weird. And then the following night, Kristi enters her parents' bedroom and gives the good old-fashioned classic Paranormal Activity, "I'm gonna stare at you" as the clock rolls by for like 3 hours. Who the fuck is that? Travis?
Travis.
Oh my God.
I thought it was Toby.
I thought it was Toby too. We're recording for Paranormal Activity 3 and you just scared the shit out of us. But then she goes up to the corner of her room and she tells Toby, no, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And then she just goes to bed. Like they broke up, damn.
Damn.
Dennis
her and Toby are beefing.
I know. I hate to see best friends beef it out. That sucks.
I ever sent you that meme where it's like a Facebook post of two girls and it's like sometimes BFFs fight and it's like a photo of them beating the absolute shit out of each other, but at the end of the day we love each other, and then it's like them hugging after.
No, yeah.
We're gonna find out because I'm like, why is this us?
That's very Kristi and Toby.
Yeah.
Coded, yeah. So Dennis discovers strange runes and markings like drawn on the walls of the tiny little closet.
Yes.
And that will come back later.
Yep.
Kristi is feeling sick, so Dennis and Julie leave Randy to watch Katie while they take Kristi to the doctor.
And Katie wants to play Bloody
Motherfucking
Mary.
Bloody Mary.
And Randy's like, no, can we not? Can we do anything else?
Randy turns the light on too soon when they like first do it. And so like she's like, no, you didn't do it right. We have to do it again. And the second time they hear a scraping sound. And then they turn the lights on and Randy's like, oh my God. He has a big scratch
up his side.
like up his stomach.
And Katie's like, what the hell? Like, are you okay?
And the door like slams shut and starts shaking like there's an earthquake.
Yeah.
Randy opens the door and he goes out into their room and the furniture all starts to like levitate around.
Yeah.
So he's completely traumatized after this experience.
Yep.
And he tells Dennis that he no longer wants to help him.
Yeah.
And we don't see Randy the whole rest of this.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out.
Yep.
There's always one character who's pretty smart.
Pieces out. Yeah.
Because who was it? It was the maid in the
Yes.
second one. She was my diva of that movie because she was like, oh, there's something evil in this house.
Love her, Miss Martine. was her name.
She's like, let me say.
And the first movie, it was that like psychic guy.
He was like, it doesn't want me here.
Go.
He was like, oh, it doesn't want me here. I'm out.
That was really funny.
He's like, my presence is just pissing it off even more.
So Dennis is shook and he reviews the footage. He's seeing all this crazy stuff. He does some more research. And so he goes to Miss Julie and he tells her that he thinks that there is a coven of witches.
Yes.
This was giving Rosemary's Baby Shower vibes with the witches.
Yes.
Okay, we just did that movie, Rosemary's Baby. And I feel like that had to have inspired like some of the witchy shit in this.
Yeah, it's the occult.
All this occult. And he thinks that they are behind this after identifying like that strange symbol that was
Yes.
drawn in the closet door.
And Julie does not want to hear it.
This was kind of a weird inverse of the first two movies
Where it's the woman is like, something is happening.
and the guy's like just completely
Yeah, because in the first
shutting
one,
her down.
it's
Katie and
Katie.
Nika.
And then the second one, it's the daughter.
Uh-huh.
She's like, Dad, shit is going on. Like, this is not...
And
And
then-
even Martine is like,
Right.
something's wrong. And they're like, nope.
And so now
But this one's like...
it's the wife who's like, no, you're wrong. I don't want to hear about any of that. Just shutting him down.
And I wonder if she like...
Knew or just had a feeling, or maybe she dealt with some shit in her childhood.
Yeah,
and
I
so
feel like
she's-
her life could be expanded on. Like,
Right,
There's so
like-
much about... Because we'll get into it. I feel like what happens with her is very strange.
I agree. Well, yeah, I want to talk about that, right? So while this whole conversation is happening, it keeps cutting to Katie and Kristi playing upstairs. And this is my favorite part. This shit is so funny.
I forgot about this one too. This is not the one I remember.
Katie gets her weave snatched.
She gets pulled by her ponytail.
her
She's
ponytail.
She's screaming.
She is suspended in the air while like Toby is like snatching her up.
He just picked her up.
It
He
was
just went,
so funny. So funny. I mean, it looked scary. It looks convincing.
Yeah.
But the slapstickiness of Toby pulling her ponytail, that shit was so funny.
like holding her off the ground by her ponytail.
And then that night, Katie's bed sheets move around like they did in the first movie.
Yeah.
Clock that. And then some of the things in the room begin to like kind of levitate. And then Katie's pillow flies right towards the camera. This was probably like what made me jump the first time I watched it the most. I was not expecting all this shit to like fly into the camera.
Yeah.
And she is snatched into the tiny closet. And Kristi is pleading for Toby to let her go.
Let her go.
I know, she's like, Toby, seriously?
Okay, fine. She's like, fine.
Fine. Okay, I know, but like... And the next day, Julie hears a knock at the door, but no one is there. This is another great moment.
This is probably my favorite.
She goes back into the kitchen, and all the shit is
gone. Everything's gone. The shelves
all the
are clear.
furniture,
All the furniture.
all the decor.
And she just kind of
She
looks...
literally like waves her hands up in like resignation. She's like, "Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me?"
It all comes
Just crashes
crashing
down. It was all like up on the ceiling floating. And that scared the shit out of me.
That was the moment she was like, oh, we're getting the fuck out of here.
And so she thinks, totally haunted vibes. We need to go stay with Grandma Lois. Grandma Lois has this farmhouse, which is really unique. I love like that they were able to find this house.
This house is beautiful.
Because it is beautiful, but it is kind of witchy vibe.
Oh, the paintings are all very strange. And
That weird
Dennis keeps...
It has this like long patio hallway thing that
Yes.
goes from the garage to the front door.
Yes.
And it's just very recognizable.
Yes.
And I think that like it always stands out to me whenever I think of this movie.
Yeah,
is, like,
and
this setting.
Dennis catches Kristi like messing with a painting of a unicorn. Like everything about the house.
Yeah,
is
like
very...
it's almost like she's like knows that there's something behind it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you doing?" And then she gets called to dinner or something.
Yeah.
It's weird. And then Grandma Lois is playing with the girls, and she has dressed them up like they're playing dress up. And Kristi's in a wedding veil, and Julie is like, "Oh well, who's the lucky guy?" And she says, "Toby." Which, what the fuck? How
wait,
does
so your
Grandma
friend-
Lois know who the fuck Toby is? And then this sketches Dennis and Julie out, and so they decide it's time for bed. And they're sleeping in the guest room, and they hear, like, in the middle of the night, some cars pulling up outside, and, like, people arriving at the house. So, like, who the fuck is that? And Julie's like, oh, I just bet it's my mom. She's always awake, like, at late hours of the night. She never sleeps. Let me just go check on her. So she goes, and she never fucking comes back.
No.
And like minutes and minutes go by, and Dennis finally decides to go check. And for a brief
You
moment,
see her standing in the hallway.
Grandma Lois's silhouette is
Yeah.
like behind him in the hallway. And then when he like
Grabs the
walks
camera. He blocks the camera, and as soon as he turns around, no one's there.
no one's there. Then he's wandering around this empty house, and he's calling for them, and he sees Lois's shadow in the window. And then when he goes around the corner, no one's behind the window.
Yeah. It's like one of those windows that's like in the house.
Uh-huh. And then
Like
the
dividing the
pictures in
rooms.
the dining room have been moved, and they're revealing pictures that have the same markings and like runes, witchy shit
Yeah.
that were in the tiny closet. So, very tense scene as he's walking down that long patio into the garage. And then when he turns the lights on, big jump scare as like a bunch of old ass ladies are like walking towards him all spooky.
Yeah.
So scary. So he's running and, you know, the camera's shaky, so it's hard to really tell what's going on this whole time. But basically, he runs back inside and he finds Julie levitating at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
And then
Her body gets thrown down at him.
Uh-huh.
She's dead.
she's totes gonzo, diva down. Kristi appears, and so he grabs her and they hide in the closet and they hear all these banging sounds from outside. He cracks the door open a little bit after they go. And like a dark figure just like whirls right past the door.
Yeah.
So he shuts it. Then he ends up going out again. And we can see that the women are all burning a bonfire out in the front yard.
Yes.
All
And then he
witchy.
sees Katie looking at Julia's body.
And she's like crouching and she's like, you know,
He's like,
facing
hey, we gotta get
from
away
her.
from there.
And then she turns and she jump scares him with a demon face.
Yes.
And I hate these demon faces.
Yeah.
I wish this wasn't in here.
Yeah.
Because that always...
I mean, it's brief, but...
I think that these movies, it's my biggest qualm with that first movie too,
Yeah.
if you remember,
Yes.
is that they used all these great practical effects and then the CGI demon face looks shitty.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it if it was makeup,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
they decided to do this, like, it looks like a bad Snapchat filter.
Yes.
I feel like, yeah. But he falls backward and drops the camera. And so we're at like a slanted angle watching the rest of this go down.
Yeah.
He's like crawling forward and Miss Lois comes out and she does some kind of spell on him that causes his spine to snap backwards.
Yes. He's dead. So he's dead.
That freaked me the fuck out, bitch. And then Katie and Kristi join Grandma Lois and they walk up the stairs.
And she says, come on, Toby.
Toby. And the end. We don't get a title card. We don't get anything.
No.
So.
I don't understand why these two die at the end.
No, me neither.
Because if they're like, oh, we want a son.
No, literally. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Well, this certainly is not the last Paranormal Activity movie
No,
we'll
there's
cover.
a few more.
I think we should fucking do them all.
Oh, we should.
Because even though they get kind of shitty...
Oh, we gotta do all of them. I need to know all the sense.
I like discussing them on the pod. Yeah.
Oh, they're funny.
They're funny.
They're stupid.
One of our like most popular videos is us talking about Kristi being dragged down the stairs in the second movie. So, yeah, it's a Let's Scream tradition at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's kind of all for this week. Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride. I was thinking,
Okay.
next week for Pride,
Of course.
we should do Nightmare on Elm
Elm
Street
Street
2.
2! Shut the fuck up, because I was about to suggest that too.
Yes,
bitch.
yes!
Okay.
That's why I'm like, oh, well, let's
The
do
gay
one of the gayest
one.
horror movies.
It's gay.
It's very gay.
Okay.
That's, I think, a very good choice.
Let's do that, Diva. I
Hell
love
yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this week of Let's Scream. We went to the 80s.
We went to the 80s.
I
We
loved
learned a
it.
little bit more about Toby.
Yes. Paranormal Activity 3 is fun. Yeah. Always a good time in the Paranormal Activity universe. Please remember to follow the pod, like the pod, and leave a glowing review of the pod, of course. We are at Let's Scream Pod on all the socials, and you can send us movie requests for future episodes. You can follow me at Parker_Will. _C on Instagram.
And you can follow me at Stevie Nash 95 on Instagram.
And until next time, this has been Let's Scream. Bye.